Siblings, they are always there for you. Always. They are people you can trust and rely on to fight over the last slice of pizza. People you can have great conversations with and get into silly arguments with. Well, unfortunately for me, my younger brother, Umar, is the smartest person I know. So I try to stay clear of arguments because I know he will always win. See, Umar and I have always been quite inseparable. I have distinct memories of us playing catch outside in the backyard, swinging on the swing set, and teaching him how to swim. We are only a year and a half apart, which essentially makes us best friends. But he's different in the way he thinks, talks, and even walks, because he's diagnosed with severe autism spectrum disorder. Just like the extraordinary person that Umar is, his story is one that is quite unique and unheard of. It's a story that is not told often, but when it is, it leaves a remarkable impact, and it has truly contributed to shaping Umar, myself, and the rest of our family. So here's how it all began. My brother was an extremely intelligent kid. Just as a reference, he was completing second grade math as a kindergartner. He was a high-functioning child on the autism spectrum, and he was even about to be mainstreamed into a typical classroom. Until we took a cruise ship to Central America for a few days in 2008. When we returned, he developed an extremely high fever. This is when everything changed. As a result, he had a progressive decline in functioning for the next few months. He lost his ability to speak, lost bowel and bladder control, and developed severe anxiety. People often ask how this happened, and the truth is, we don't know. No one does. His story is a mystery. Both of my parents are physicians, and they consulted several other physicians within the city and even across the country. Yet no one had an explanation for what happened to Umar, or why I had lost my brother and my best friend. What was the result? My brother had to endure constant crying, fear, anxiety, and several other terrifying, stressful days for 5 straight years, from 2009 to 2014. My family was in despair. The car was his only form of solace. I am still not quite sure why, whether it be the calming motion of the drive or the sense of security he felt. It was the only place where he would not be in complete distress. I remember we would sometimes spend 12 hours a day in the car simply driving. For some of this time period, I was too young to understand what was happening to my brother. I just remember several moments of waiting for the crying to stop, watching my parents trying to comfort my brother, and hoping for Umar to feel better. So throughout this entire experience, several things were happening. And eventually, I started to learn how to teach my brother some coping techniques to help him calm down during these periods as well. Here is where we are right now. We have tried several methods of intensive therapy, trying to get my brother back. He has never fully recovered, but in the last year or two, things have finally started to turn around. Although he has never been able to communicate his thoughts as concisely or complete the same daily tasks, he has gained some of his abilities to communicate back. His crying and anxiety have slowly subsided. He swims, rides his bike, and has several other hobbies he can complete to occupy his day. He is doing a lot better, but taking care of Umar is like having a lifelong toddler in your home. You can barely travel, go out to restaurants, and spend quality family time. Right now, I'm here today, a 16-year-old girl with a story, a significant experience that very few have had in their lives. But the significance comes from what I've learned from this journey and what I would like to share with all of you. The first of which ties back to a statement I said earlier in my speech. My brother is the smartest person I know because he is happy. Oh, I know it sounds cliche and repetitive, but let's take this instance. We all work so hard in our lives trying to accomplish things for the ideals of peace of mind and happiness. Despite everything my brother has been through, he is always smiling. He has acquired the most treasured attribute in life, even though he lacks the mere capability of accomplishing even simple tasks. Let's take this example. Because he's my best friend, and I admit I can occasionally be an annoying teenage girl, I sometimes complain to him about my day. I talk to him about all the tiny, insignificant things that went wrong, and he simply turns to me with a smile. Now, I know he cannot communicate or talk verbally, but I see wisdom in his eyes. It all doesn't matter. He is telling me to just be happy. I understand that a smile is all that is needed to deem certain problems as unimportant. I really need to talk about the other thing I've learned from this entire journey. Our struggles or unique experiences shape our perspectives and allow us to make a difference in other people's lives. You see, the situation my family has undergone, years of struggle in the unknown, has left a figurative mark on me. But the knowledge I've gained from that mark is so valuable because it is something I have uniquely that no one else has and no one else will ever have, that exact knowledge. And therefore, I use that wisdom as a prize and as a message. Here is how I've turned my struggle into a positive. As you heard earlier, my name is Radhika, and people call me Rad because they cannot pronounce my name. I get it. Well, for my 16th birthday, I released Real Autism Difference, or RAD. This nonprofit organization was inspired by my brother, Amr, in an attempt to solve for the lack of resources here in Southern Nevada for children with autism. I cannot tell you how many times my brother has been rejected from certain therapies, programs, and even schools that advertise themselves as schools for children with autism. Despite the fact that both of my parents are physicians and have exposure to the medical field, it is still impossible to get my brother into speech, behavioral, and occupational therapies. RAD is putting a dent in the existing problem, and after only being open for a couple of months, we have made exciting progress. We have been able to implement forms of respite care, parent education workshops, and staff training seminars. RAD has been so rewarding. The other day, I actually got an email from a mom here in the community expressing gratitude towards our organization. She shared her experience about her son having autism and not having any available resources for him. Every time we receive similar emails, it inspires me and motivates me to continue. This is some of my story and a mere fraction of my brother's story. But I want you all to know that my journey is not stopping anytime soon. It is like a force within me to keep striving and help the number of children affected by this disability. I encourage all of you to keep accomplishing with your knowledge, wisdom, and potential that stems from your own struggles. We all have that valuable knowledge within ourselves, facilitated by our own experiences. We can take that wisdom and make a difference in other people's lives. You see, the next time you are feeling down about a situation in your life that you cannot control, please, don't worry. Be happy, because struggle and despair create perspective, and perspective is a weapon to evoke change. Thank you.